Hello friends, are you planning a self-drive trip to Ladakh but have a hatchback or a sedan car and worried if your car can do such a trip or not? Or are you confused if you always need an SUV car for a self-drive trip to Ladakh? Well, a self-drive trip to Leh Ladakh is a dream of thousands of adventure seekers like you or like me all around the world. As soon as the Leh Ladakh season gets open or gets into full swing in the months of May to September, people like you or me start to prepare ourselves to undertake this adventurous journey over Manali Leh Highway and Srinagar Leh Highway. However, not all of us have a luxury of owning an SUV or a big car with high ground clearance. Of course, there is an option to rent a self-drive car, but then, as I said in my previous video, the outside Leh rented taxis or self-drive rental cars are not allowed for sightseeing in Ladakh. So, what shall we do if we have a small car like a hatchback or a sedan? Today in this Express FAQ series on traveling to Ladakh, I'm going to talk about if you can travel to Ladakh by a small car like a hatchback or a sedan, and also share 7 most important tips that you must follow for your self-drive trip to Ladakh, be it on a small car or be it on a SUV. So, let's get started. Well friends, to cut to the chase, you can certainly make a trip to Leh Ladakh in a hatchback or a sedan car. But surely there will be challenges. I have personally seen Tata Nano doing it, so any car can do it. It all depends upon your driving skills and how much you love your car. I have personally driven my own Santro and dZire to many remote corners of the Himalayas, so I do have experience with both hatchbacks as well as sedans. Having said all that, you will indeed face few tough challenges on your trip to Ladakh when driving a hatchback or a sedan car. A sedan is a much worse candidate than a hatchback in my experience, especially due to the boot hanging up there. Let me share 3 important points that you should keep in mind when driving in a hatchback or a sedan car to Ladakh. Firstly, if you are not used to the bad road conditions or mountain roads, then the best way to reach Ladakh is via Srinagar Leh Highway. You will get used to the road conditions, you will get acclimatized, and you will also get comfortable with the mountain roads. Then after reaching Ladakh, in case you felt that Srinagar Leh Highway was very difficult for you to drive, I advise that you drive back the same route instead of taking the Manali Leh Highway. Why? Because that is certainly more challenging than Srinagar Leh Highway. However, if you did the journey on Srinagar Leh Highway more or less with ease, well, then continue your journey on Manali Leh Highway. Secondly, since you are driving a hatchback or a sedan car, you need to drive with extra care and caution. There will be certain sections on the road, especially on Manali Leh Highway, where you might need to bear some scratches on the underbelly of your car. Just make sure that you do not bump your engine sump. Hence, knowing the location of your car's engine sump is very important because you need to protect it throughout the Ladakh journey. Thirdly, whenever you are in doubt in crossing any tricky section on the road, be it a landslide or a water crossing, then please do not rush into it. You should rather park your vehicle aside and feel the section on your foot, or maybe see how other vehicles are crossing it and then plan a route in your mind and then cross that section. Now, apart from these 3 important things to know, let us look at 7 most important tips or practical tips that I always recommend to anyone who is planning a self-drive trip to Leh Ladakh, be it on a small car or be it on an SUV. These tips will help you with either of them. So, let's look at them one by one. Number 1, overconfidence is your biggest enemy on a Ladakh trip, so always keep it aside. You could be a master of driving in plains, but driving on such roads to Ladakh is a different ballgame altogether. You need to respect the difficulty and be extra careful always. You might have to get down from your car to move a stone which you are seeing on the road, so that you need to be extra cautious that it does not hit the underbelly of your car and you are stranded in the middle of nowhere. You might also need to be very careful or cautious about the driving speeds up there. Ladakh, if not anything, teaches us humility. Number 2, like I previously said, never rush through a tricky section of the road on your Ladakh trip. Carefully analyze the tricky section by parking your vehicle aside and judging the situation. try to see how other cars are crossing the section and maybe like inspect the whole section on your foot. Then finally go for it. It is never a good idea to rush through a tricky section of the road, be it like a water crossing or a landslide, because it can easily end you up in trouble or get stranded in the middle of nowhere. Number 3. Know your car or vehicle very well. It is very crucial to know about your vehicle or car, especially hatchbacks and sedans, due to low ground clearance. You will definitely find some sections on the road where underbelly scratches are unavoidable. So knowing some critical components of your car which are underneath will definitely help you, which you can sacrifice some scratches upon and which you cannot. And engine oil sump is one such component which should always protect on your Ladakh trip. Number 4. Use of heater should be avoided at any cost, especially at high altitude places like Manali Leh Highway or Ladakh. Wait a minute, really? Are you saying that in this cold place like Ladakh, I should avoid using heaters in my car? But why? The warm air from the heater destroys the levels of oxygen inside the car, and this makes the breathing difficult and also aggravate the AMS symptoms. And friends, if you have not watched my AMS video yet, I will request you to please watch it using the link over here. Number 5. It is not a surprise, but guys, please do not drink and drive. Well, it is not only a legal offense and reduces your thinking capacity and concentration, but it also affects the acclimatization rate, which is very important for any Ladakh trip. So please do not mix your drinks with your self-drive to Leh Ladakh trip. And number 6, you must always help other people who are stuck on their way with whatever help you can provide with. Be it a lift or a push or a pull or fuel, spares, food, rope and whatnot. If they are stuck and needs your help, please do provide them. Sometimes help is very hard to find in remote routes of Ladakh. So do not forget guys, this can happen to you at very next turn, and it does not feel much good when someone comes after hours of waiting and passes by without offering any help. So consider yourself in their shoes and see how will you feel if you are stuck and nobody is helping you around up there. Hence, always stop for helping other fellow travelers who are stuck up there. And who knows, you might end up saving a life up there. And lastly, number 7, you should always carry essentials as well as other spare parts for your car on any self-drive trip to the mountains. It is an extremely important topic and deserves a dedicated video for it. I'll be covering this topic about what are the essential things that you should carry on a self-drive trip to Ladakh or Spiti Valley or other parts of the Himalayas in my next video of this series. So friends, this was all about self-driving to Ladakh in a small car like a hatchback or a sedan, and some very essential and practical tips that you must know when driving up there in this cold desert or any other remote corners of the Himalayas. And like I said before, in the next video, let's expand this topic a bit further and talk about what are the essential things that you must carry on your self-drive trip to Ladakh or other remote corners of Himalayas. So stay tuned my friends and watch out for the next video. Now in the end, if you found this video helpful, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And in case if you need any help or have any questions on your upcoming trip to the Himalayas, please feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to help you out right away. Till then my friends, Jule, and please keep our Himalayas clean.